Welcome to our podcast focusing on invisibility of labor. We are members of the Stuff 200 Materiality and Inequality class. We started this project interested in different types of labor on Hamilton's campus, and we decided to conduct research into the visibility and invisibility of labor done by facilities management at Hamilton. We conducted this research through 7 interviews with members of facility staff and a survey sent out through mail posts that garnered 154 student responses. We also conducted a review of the literature on invisible labor, specifically cleaning and domestic services. We started by asking our interviewees how long they'd been a part of the Hamilton College facility staff and how they'd gotten their position.
Actually, I was laid off from, I used to work in Syracuse, a carrier corporation.
Right.
And I got laid off in 2010, in February of 2010. And looked around for a job, and I got hired here in October of 2010.
So I started as a custodial, and I've been a painter all my life, and I was doing my daughter's and her husband's home, painting the whole thing, and I got talking to the guy who put in the furnace systems, and he worked at Utica College, and I asked him if they were hiring because I was looking for more benefits because I was a self-contractor, and he said, "Why don't you try Hamilton College?" And I go, "Where is it?" So he said, "It's in Clinton." So I go, okay. So I went home, I looked at the phone book, I got Hamilton College's number, I called them, and I got an interview.
Nice.
You know, so I started as custodial because they had no openings at the paint shop, but they put me on in the summer as an apprentice. I did that for 5 years. Then finally they hired another painter, and they put me on the position. So I've been on a paint crew probably, I don't know, it's 7 years.
Back in 2006, I applied for the position is still here, PM mechanic, which was basically got hired, and you did PM work in fast man. That was a fast man. It's your first line of defense, sort of the fast man are, and there's still two of them here. If we would get a call to say a toilet was leaking or something shorted out in a student's room or something broke in one of the classrooms or the staff's office, we would go fix it, within a couple hours. If not, they would have to turn it over to a higher ranked personnel. Then from there, did that job for 6-7 years. Then I went to school to become an electrician, which I am now an electrician. And you get hired, you get promoted to what they call maintenance mechanical level 1. And from there, you hold that position for a year. Within that year, that you have to do in-house 26 tests. I had to do actually 30, and it ranges from simple safety right up to pretty intense math and mechanical tests that you have to read a book and take it. And after you do that, you move up to what the position I am now, which is a master mechanic.
Actually, I worked at the diner.
Oh, cool.
So I worked there for 3 years, and one of the girls there got a job at custodial, and then I'm like, well, how'd she do that? So kept putting in for it. Finally, I got the, interview and got the job.
Okay, so how many total years have you been at Hamilton?
That'll be 6 in July.
Okay, awesome.
We wanted to know the ins and outs of their daily work. What kind of tasks do facilities management staff do every day? What are their routines?
Yeah, we get here at 7.
Right.
That's the worst part of coming here is not knowing what we're going to do.
Right.
Because every day is a different day.
Absolutely.
So, like, say, if something's broke down, we have to go, and so there's really no set schedule.
Right.
So you're sitting in the lunchroom, shop room, and you're just waiting to see,
Right. Oh my
what
gosh,
we're
of
gonna.
course.
So it is the worst. It's nice to. It would be nice to wake up and
Yeah.
know that I'm going to do this. Maybe that happens maybe 10% out of our days here.
Right.
Every
exciting.
week I test the generators. There's like
Right.
26 big generators for the building, so I test them every
great.
week. Takes about 1 day, and I am responsible for all the outside lighting on campus, all the light
Right.
poles and building lights and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I do maybe 90% of those.
Right.
If I'm not here, someone else does them and stuff.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mainly just clean the bathrooms, vacuum, mop floors, stairwells. Let's see, like detail. Sometimes we do detail work.
Okay.
Just wiping down, disinfecting things.
I work, like today come in, I did overtime in the
Okay.
morning, so you can come in at 6. Usually I work 6 to 3:30.
Okay. And throughout the day, do you move around to different buildings?
Yeah,
Do you just-
yeah, we
okay.
get work orders.
Okay.
In the morning, we meet with our supervisor, and they'll hand us a work order. And or else, if we already started a project, we'll go back to the same project. On there. And depending on the weather, when it gets nicer out, we go outside, do a lot of work, because we maintain all the whole facility on campus, all the housing, everything.
I'm an electrician out of the physical plant, the old physical plant, which is now facility maintenance. I maintain and do projects for anything that has to be done for electrical. We install everything and everything. I don't know how far deep you want to get down into it. I also work out of it's part of the plumbing shop too. I do plumbing from sometimes major renovation to simple job is repairing faucets in the bathrooms. And I also do, I'm on 24/7 emergency call. I come in the middle of the night when they call me to repair from sinks to boilers, and then wide range in between there. And it's from 3:30 when I get out until 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week. And plus we are essential personnel. We're here no matter what. It could be a blizzard out, we have to get called, we got to try to make it in. Been here 15 years, going on 16, and I've done every type of variety of work you could think of in the physical plant or facility maintenance, which is now called that.
Basically, I work at C.A. Johnson from 6 till about 9.
Right.
And it's trash pickup, vacuuming,
Right.
cleaning bathrooms, that type of thing.
Definitely.
And get to the dorms, it's pretty much the same deal. Clean kitchen, vacuum, sweep, mop, trash, dust.
Right.
Some of the facility staff members touched on the difference of working at an academic institution such as Hamilton as compared to working a similar job at a non-academic place. Most importantly, we wanted to understand what facilities members' experiences interacting with students on campus.
I did. I worked at a factory for the brewery,
right.
FX
Oh,
Matt
my
Brewery
gosh,
for a couple of years
right.
before. And I worked for a couple other refrigeration companies and air conditioning companies.
Right.
So how this differs is the vastness of it. Like every day is a
Right.
complete different day. You got the big events, commencement comes, reunions come.
Right.
Next thing you know, summer's over, the kids come. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
very, it's really hard to describe,
Interesting.
working
Yeah,
at
of
a
course.
college. I like seeing the youth.
Right.
I like going through the halls and smelling marijuana once in a while.
The other jobs I've done is all factory work.
Okay.
So I do like this kind of work a lot better. It's, factory work can be,
Yeah.
I mean, this can be physical too, very physical, but
A lot different. I mean, in the hospitals, you were always around sick people. Here it's a different atmosphere up here. My old boss that I was under for quite a while, he retired, and I'll say his name. His name was Ed Nyhart, and he was our boss, in the physical plant of 16 of us, and he was the greatest boss I ever had. And working with the young students was more of a challenge when I first came here, but you grow to understand that these are young adults, and I've been here going on 16 years and never had a problem with any of the students. They treat me with respect, and I give it right back to them.
Where I worked in the past,
this is absolutely ridiculous to me. You know, the stuff that the college has compared to other employers is ridiculous. I mean, 10% into a pension plan, they automatically do. I've never had that before, you know, it was always a personal thing. You know, in another 9 months, my kids are going to be eligible for half-price tuition anywhere in the, you know, United States. So that's awesome. I wish I had that when my first one went to school. Automatic raises every year. There was years I didn't get a raise because it was retail, but you never know.
Right.
So some of the stuff was a bit ridiculous to me, but that's me. You know, other people it's a big deal. They've never maybe had another job. You know, some people come right in early and have never worked anywhere before. You know, so it's different for everyone.
Carrier's different because, you know, it's a big corporation.
Right.
And sometimes it was a unionized place, let alone all the different layers, because Carrier Air Conditioning is part of United Technologies. You know, you have Pratt & Whitney and you know, Hamilton Standard and all these other places like that. And, you know, of course, the main goal there is to make money. So as long as, you know, you're making money, you know, you're pretty much clear. Right. But there, let's see, that was the bigger focus. You know, we had to just, you know, clean things, you know, make people happy when I was there as a custodian. But I actually started there as a machine operator. And I was a custodian. You could either take a layoff when things got slow, or you could say go to be a custodian. And usually I would take the custodial work just to keep on working and have a paycheck come in. Right. And that's like one of the bigger differences.
Most importantly, we wanted to gain an understanding of facilities members' experiences interacting with students on campus. We were not sure what to expect and got mixed results on the question.
Most of the students, I actually love working with the students.
That's awesome.
You know, they'll stop, some of them will stop and talk to me while I'm working, and oh yeah, I absolutely.
Okay, good. So you generally think they're respectful and.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As the years go by, it seems like they're more entitled to, you know, that they just think that things should be done for them, or you know.
Yeah, no.
It's like a cultural change. It's probably just it happens all over, I'm sure.
Yeah, interesting. Wonder if that has to do with almost gets more expensive places.
I think it is.
Along,
I really do.
like,
I mean, you know, the more you pay, the more you expect, I'm assuming, you know.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be down in Shenandoah and Wally J.
Right.
Really nice dorms. Kids are real good there. We get along very well. You know, real happy. I see a few students every once in a while in C.A. Johnson when they come in early to study.
Right.
You know, which yeah.
Yeah.
I went the other morning. A girl was already there at 6, and like,
Whoa.
whoa.
Grinding. Oh
Yeah, it's getting close to the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
When asked if their work was noticed or appreciated, or whether it seemed like students put thought into how they left their spaces, their answers were pretty consistent.
I would say most of them are pretty messy. Yeah, like say, I don't know if you've ever been on Griffin Road after party.
Oh my gosh.
You know, there's cups and trash. You know, and that, to me, that kind of is a little disrespectful. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've always been taught to pick up after yourself, and you know, it should be a normal thing to do. You know.
Yeah.
I think the movie Animal House ruined everybody. when you know, especially like with a freshman, when we first get to college, they thought it'd be cool if my room's messy. You know, that's where it should be. But as they got, you know, as they become juniors and seniors, it seemed like they get a little more neater. But in general, it's their space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You find students leaving their spaces, they typically like take care of it. They don't like.
They're great over there. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I know that's substance-free housing too, so it's probably very.
Yes, they're very good over there. Very quiet too.
Yes, that's what I've heard. I have a friend who lives over there.
Sometimes it's like, oh, I wish somebody would come in. I could talk to them.
I don't think it's very clean most of the time. I don't think they care. to be honest with you. It's a little frustrating. I don't think they tend to think about the next person in line who may have to use it.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like over in that bathroom, that small little bathroom over in 19, someone's smoking in there, and they leave the ashes all over the toilet every day.
Jeez.
I think that's disgusting, and if you wanted to use it, you wouldn't, because you know they're doing that to it. So, but they don't care.
Absolutely. Jeez.
Yeah.
What? 19? Trying to think.
That small little
yeah.
bathroom, it's really a community bathroom, but it's just that toilet and sink in there.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I know who it is.
Yeah.
It's just
Keep an eye on
say
them.
anything.
Our student responses were very interesting. 52% of students surveyed reported that they see their custodian either once per day or not at all. Only 40% reported that they know the name of the custodian in their residence hall, yet 67.5% concluded that they feel students appreciate their custodians. This could be seen as somewhat contradictory.
We also wanted to know about their experiences with the contract negotiations last year. We asked members of the facilities staff what their biggest stipulations were surrounding the contracts and how it made them feel about how their work and employment were recognized at this school.
Oh,
We had,
your
I was on
opinions.
the negotiating committee actually,
Right.
and part of the problem was it took way too long. It took way too long. We got jerked around. They were supposed to start in the spring, and our supervisor held off until we didn't even have the first meeting until June. The contract ended July 15th,
Right.
and it's like, yeah, you're like putting this off. I think they were trying to break the union, get everybody mad and get what they want by getting everybody disheartened.
Right.
It's my own opinion because, it's like, because a lot of times we'd go for a meeting and we would a lot of times go for a couple hours and you'd almost like do like a back and forth, like, this is your week for proposals on your side. Okay, you give us your proposals. Maybe we'll meet for 20 minutes. And then we'll come back in a week and we'll tell you what we think of your proposals. And these are our counter proposals. And you can, on and on. Sometimes when it was their week, they didn't have any proposals. Like, it's like,
Right.
it's like, teachers, is there any homework this week? I know. If you have some time, could you give us some? That type of thing. So that was pretty bad.
Right.
One thing a lot of us want, we want a closed shop.
Right.
Because it means you got to join. When I was at Carrier, we had a closed shop.
Right.
And it worked better for the union, basically. Of course, they don't want that because they can keep everybody on. It's like divide and conquer if you have an open shop.
Of course. Yeah. Divide and conquer. Oh my gosh, exactly. So when the time between, I guess, June and July 15th, when it had ended, did you?
Oh, it didn't. We didn't sign anything until Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, during that time, were you out of a contract? Like, was it
There's a
6 month almost
continuation
period?
clause.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so it just keeps on going with the old thing instead of
Right.
kicking in something new.
Definitely.
This last negotiations was the last 2019. Well, the contract ended in 2018, but it led into 2019. We were, we got a new director of our physical plant, which changed it to facility maintenance, and they hired a different lawyer, and this lawyer he had a history. He's got a history, and it's known throughout, at least America, that I was told that he was known to break unions. And the union's been here since the mid-'60s. So, it was very tough. I'm not going to bash the college because they had their standards and we had our standards, and it was some of the times we've sat across from each other and it's just one-on-one. The lawyer does the talking for the college, and we have our union representative out of Syracuse that does the talking. And it got to the point where we were into this negotiations a few months in, and we weren't getting anywhere. So we brought the students in on board Democratic committee or whatever. There was like 8 of them, and they came in and sat on a negotiation with us. And these young students, there was mostly seniors, a couple sophomores, and the questions that they threw to the committee, us there, they were pretty intense questions. They were really looking to find out what's the problem. And we told them what we were trying to get out of management, and they weren't budging. And finally got down to the last 3 meetings. That's when Karen Leach stepped in. Karen Leach is the money lady up here. And finally we were back and forth here. They brought a mediator in, a federal mediator in. And this mediator was this guy knew what he was doing, and it helped us to resolve to where both sides were, what they gave us, we both sides thought it was fair. And we knew after 6 months of negotiation that we better end this, because we had union members out there that wanted it to end. So the bottom line is, it was a fair contract. The college was asking for some stuff maybe they thought they should have got, and we were asking for some stuff that we thought we should have got. But the bottom line came down to the last minute. After 6 months of going through hours of contract negotiation, it was time to end it. Go get back to a working relationship, and it's always been a good working relationship between the union and college. They've been fair, even with the different managements over the years. They've been fair.
To me, the economy was so good. I thought a little bit more of a raise would have been possible for this year, and I believe us as a collective, we could have gone to the 2-week pay period.
Right.
I didn't see why that couldn't have been negotiated. It's not a big deal. I mean, if people just budget just 1 week different, it all takes care of itself. So
Absolutely.
to me, that's just odd.
But it's a great thing having a union, you know what I mean? Because employees need to have a voice too,
The union representatives, that woman Shelley, I don't know if you've met her, she was from Rochester.
Right.
And she
Sounds
came
familiar.
before negotiations even started, and that was her idea, was to get the students involved and get behind us. And at the time I was thinking to myself, and I actually said, geez, don't you think that's kind of too early? We didn't even have a meeting yet. So she got this petition going around before we even had the negotiations. And if I was on the other side, I could see their point where we need to give them a chance. We kind of drew first blood, got the students involved. We never did that before, and since I've been here.
For sure.
And I think it caused a lot of bad blood. So I'm on the other side. Even though I represent the union, I could see the colleges. If that was me, I would have been probably upset that
Absolutely.
we didn't give them a chance.
Right.
And it just took a little too long. Usually it's by August, September, it's done at the latest.
Right.
This one was, I think, December.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, definitely. Is there, what do you perceive as maybe the reason that it dragged on so long?
I almost think it was because we got the students involved, and maybe that just definitely made them apprehensive, and maybe just I don't know. I really don't know.
I think the political system's pretty lame. It's like American voters, after, like, I'm 64, so I've seen a lot of this stuff, and American voters think like socialism's like devil worship almost. It's like, compared to like Europe, they don't know anything about politics and how to approach things. After you study like Hitler over on the right, and Stalin on the left type thing, you guys, in America haven't seen anything for political ideas.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Interesting.
In fact, a lot of times it's hard to talk to a lot of regular folks about politics because they're so naive about it. It's like my mom used to say, like, what she'd say, communist Nazis or something like that,
Right.
which is like
They
two,
stacked it up,
you know,
yeah.
it's like you're really bad because you're both, you know, in one.
Funny. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Of
And this is a
course.
person who lived through World War II,
Right.
you know. Like,
Yeah.
We were pleasantly surprised by the appreciation that members of facilities staff felt for the positive student interactions that they'd had, as well as the student activism displayed during the contract negotiations, including the sit-in in the Red Pit and the march across campus.
They're all flooded with emails from Carnegie, all of them, saying different things. And they said I was the coolest guy on campus. But I don't know about that. But I used to help them out. You know, if they need somebody to talk to, I was there for them. You know, because sometimes they like to talk to an adult.
Yeah.
You know, and I got children, so
Yeah.
you can almost tell when somebody's down.
Yeah.
You know.
I would think the most appreciated we felt, I don't know if you were involved last year when the kids kind of got behind us and they
Right.
showed up at the Red Pit and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
right.
So
I was
we
there.
felt kind of appreciated there. But, I mean, we don't really look for appreciation from you guys because we know that you pay a lot of money to come here, so you should expect things to be done in a timely fashion, done for you. And if kids are there, they say thanks, but most of the time, you guys are in your classes, we go in, fix whatever we fix, and go home at 3:30, and you guys are out of classes at 2:30, 3 o'clock, so.
Right.
But that's always positive.
Right. Yeah.
But we really don't
Makes
look
sense.
for appreciation. I mean, we don't do it. We just do it, I don't want to say, you know, it's our job, and
No.
we want to make your 4 years as pleasant as possible, really.
they appreciate it when.
Is there a way that they express that, I guess? is my-
Well, you know, a lot of times, you know, they'll say, you know, thanks for keeping things up every once in a while, stuff like that. And they gave me a Christmas bonus.
Oh, wow.
You know, so they
beautiful,
collected that.
yeah.
So
Right.
it was a pretty rare thing, you
Right.
know.
Oh, of course. That's
Yeah.
pretty rare, you found? Like,
Well,
across
I
your
was
years?
at the gym for 5 years. I mean, I shouldn't say this. I was at the
Right.
gym for 5 years,
Yeah.
and I was in a couple. This is like my fifth area in Hamilton, and only twice before did I ever get anything for Christmas, and that wasn't even for like the whole building.
Right.
And some of it was like from staff. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
Whoa. Interesting.
I won the Tobin Award when I was taking care of Carnegie.
Okay.
And the kids put me in for the Tobin Award.
Aw.
And I'm the only person ever won the Tobin Award that was nominated by students.
And could you? I'm sorry, I don't know what the Tobin Award is.
Above and beyond outstanding work.
To those listening to this podcast, we implore you to acknowledge a facilities management member the next time you come across someone and to thank them for what they do. They get here much earlier than we do each day, and they work hard at what they do. They are an integral part of what keeps Hamilton's campus running, and they genuinely care about Hamilton's students and its community.